Okay, so in the last tutorial I showed you how to make a local Git and then send it to the repository. But in this one I'm going to show you how to take someone else's repository and turn it into your own local Git that you can edit and then send back up to the main repository. And this is how you would communicate with other people and send each other code. And that's one of the main reasons that I use Git. So let's just start on this, right? I'm going to open up GitHub, and this would be what the other person would be doing, right? So they would go and they would search for your repository, and it would help if they have your name. So you can type your name and then the repository name, and it'll narrow it down quite a bit. And I'm just going to click on this for ease. And now I'm going to be on the repository page of those, right? And what we would do here is we would just hit the green clone or download button, and we're going to copy this URL here. It's the same thing as the one up here, but it's easier to copy with the button. And now we are going to open Git bash and get to the location where we want to make the Git, the local Git. So now we're in desktop where I'll make it, and I'll just do the command git clone. And this is how you make a new one from other people's work. And you then paste into the terminal the repository name, put a spacebar, and then the name you want it to be called. Right? So I'm going to name this other person. And now it popped up on the desktop, and we are just going to go inside of it. Yep. And now you will see in the list there's only test.txt. And if you remember from the last tutorial, the one we made had bad text, and we put it inside of git ignore. So now the cloned version does not have it inside of it. Okay, so now that you have the basics of just how to get it on your own machine, the next thing you would want to do is edit it and then send it back to the repository so that other people can pull it down. So the way we would do this is we would use the command, well, let's just create a new file, right? So we are in other person, and we're just going to make a new file. Okay, and now we have other file, and we'll just pretend that this is pretty similar, and there's only one new thing that must be done. And what you would have to do is git add, and then you do git commit other person. You gotta use the M flag. And now that has been committed, we are going to use git push. And the thing about this is that they need to have collaborator status in order to push. And I can't really demonstrate the error you'd get here, but the way you would give them this permission to push, because they don't have it automatically, is you have to go into the settings and then into manage access, and then it'll say you have not invited any collaborators yet. And this is where you would invite a collaborator, and you would type in like other person at gmail.com, for instance, and this would give them a invite on the Gmail account. And this would apply even if you typed in just like other person as the name or a GitHub username. It would always send them an email that they have to accept. And once you've accepted that, the other person can now push just like you can. And yeah, that's now should have updated on here, and we will see there's an other file.txt, and this was made by the other person. And let's say that now that they've updated the repository, we want to have our original be updated with the work, right? Because if you look, this does not have the new work. It does not have the other file. So in order to get that onto ours, we will have to use the command git pull, and I will get to it right now. So we're going to go up a level and then down into tutorial. And now we are going to see that it's not here, and we're going to use the command git pull. And it'll say one file changed. Now let's go and see this. We have other file.txt. Okay, so this is basically all you need to communicate with other people, but you gotta make sure that you give them collaborators access, because I've seen a lot of people struggle with that bit. Oh yeah, also on a side note, you should also make sure that you use git pull before you start editing anything, because it'll give you a conflict if you have work of your own and they have work and they don't mix up well. So it's generally a good idea to start pulling before you start making anything new.